Hi, I'm Dale Kobayashi. I'm a candidate for State House Representative District 23, which encompasses Manoa Valley, Punahou Area, University, and Mo'iliili. It's my first time running as a candidate for any political office. I decided to run based on a number of reasons. Broadest reason would be my desire for some change in Hawaii politics. I have an opinion that we're lacking transparency, honesty, and integrity among our elected officials. I want to be a part of changing that. There's a lot of change going through in Hawaii, that some of which is good and some of which I think is not so good. More than anything else, I just want to take a seat at the table. I bring 30 years of business experience internationally. I've worked in the global bond market, starting in New York, on to London and Tokyo. I grew up in Manoa Valley from 1965, but I'd been away for 25 years for various things, mostly to work in the bond markets. I returned to Hawaii in 2002, where I've worked in business here. I was the chief investment officer at First Hawaiian Bank. Now I'm with Morgan Stanley as a financial advisor. I think some of my financial experience can really add to the body of knowledge in the legislature. Having followed a lot of our financial related bills, particularly relating to bond financing, I feel like there's a lack of understanding, and that definitely costs us as a state in really not taking an optimal approach to a lot of our financing needs. And overall, I think having a strong private sector business approach will be advantageous to my colleagues in the House. One of the other issues I'm looking at was specific to Manoa Valley is the University of Hawaii, and that's become quite a large campaign issue. I've recently received the endorsement from the University of Hawaii Professional Assembly, UPA, and they buy into my vision of a more constructive approach to deal with some of the fiscal management issues we've faced at the University of Hawaii system as a whole, specifically related to some of the programs at the Manoa campus, our research facilities, and some of the financial challenges related to the Cancer Center, of which I'm a large supporter of. This promises to be a large campaign issue. In my opinion, my opponent, Isaac Choi, has not had a very constructive approach as the higher education chair of the House of Representatives in representing the University of Hawaii. I think we can have a much better approach to this. Education and qualitative experience, I think we've largely been managing it based on the dollars and cents and ignoring some of the qualitative aspects that make this one of the most important institutions in the state. It's not like we have other large-scale secondary educational options here in Hawaii like you might have in many other states. This is it for a lot of kids here, and it's important for our future to be supporting this in a lot stronger way than we have been. One of the other issues that I've been strong about has been keeping Manoa Valley in the character that it's always been to some extent. One way that manifested itself about a year and a half ago was there was a large development plan for the back of the valley called Paradise Park. The plan was to have 430,000 visitors a year, 24 tour buses a day. I grew up in the shadow of the Paradise Park property, and it's a slippery slope as far as trying to be proactive in growing jobs and business in the valley, and also trying to protect some of the natural resources. The park sits on conservation territory. I set up Save Manoa Valley, which was an organization to oppose large-scale development in the back of the valley, and we went after Paradise Park. 2 weeks ago, in front of the Board of Land and Natural Resources, we had them revoke the permit issued in October 2014. So to do anything related to their current plans, they'll have to go back before the board. So we've had success for the time being. My opponent on this, Isaac Choi, was a large supporter of Paradise Park. He wrote letters to the DNR in support of them, in spite of the large majority of people in the valley being against this. I think that's what I can bring in a general sense to the people of Manoa Valley and my district, is to listen to people. That I feel like, in general, there's some people that get listened to here, developers, other powerful individuals and companies, where the large majority of individuals are somewhat ignored in the political process. And I see that trend getting a lot worse. I'd like to be part of the solution in changing that around. I generally have progressive ideals. I try to avoid being pegged in any particular hole like we tend to do as far as, are you a conservative or progressive or somewhere in between? I think there's aspects of both that make sense here in Hawaii, and I'd really like to engage people and tell them a lot more about my story going forward. I'm Dale Kobayashi. I'm running for State House Representative for District 23. Thanks so much for your interest in my candidacy.